Well, hello, everybody. I'm Frankie, and here is another edition of How We Solve It. Each week, I'm going to be sitting here and asking members of our team how they solve problems. Easy enough, right? And sometimes I might just randomly ask them about garden gnomes because everybody has an opinion on garden gnomes. So let's begin. Today, I have Jacob Shannon. He is our L2 support team lead / product owner. Okay, Jacob, give us a little insight on that long title.
Sure. Yeah. So L2 support, what we do is basically any sort of customer facing issue that's not resolved on the L1 or chat side of things. They'll escalate that up to us. We'll take a look at it. And if there's any additional information that we have or any additional tools to get the job done or get the issue resolved or the question, get it out there, and then we'll take a look at that. If we can, we'll get it back to the L1 rep. If we can't, then that's when we escalate it further up to our L3 engineering team as a bug ticket. They'll take a look at it. The product owner side of things, that's where I go in and I take a look at the backlog. I'll rank the tickets with some more teammates of my under me. We'll rank the tickets based on priority, which ones need to get touched first. Obviously the easier ones the first, certain customers prioritize, that kind of stuff.
Very nice. Sounds really complex, but I'm sure there's a system in place, and it sounds like it's a really in-depth way of, providing that support to our clients. So just thanks for giving a little context about that. We always here at Cirrus Insight want to know a little bit about who we work with side by side. So do you care to share just one of the things that you really are interested in and passionate about?
Sure. Yeah. So one of the things I really love to do is go outside, at night and take a look at the stars, take a look at planets. I do it all through a telescope. The telescope I use is not really like the normal ones that you typically think of when you think of a telescope. It's not the long, skinny one. It's a really short and stubby fat one. It's called a refractor telescope.
Okay.
And so it pulls in a lot more light. I'm able to see the stars and the planets, pretty good through it. It allows me to take photos as well. And I have a photo here that I actually took with my phone through the telescope. And so this is actually a series of photos of Saturn that I took. I compiled it through a software called regex. And so this is a free software anybody can get on their computer. I think it's a Windows related program, but yeah, you can compile all the photos and get a cool little image like this.
That's gorgeous. I can see the allure. I myself like space, just wouldn't want to go in it. But I do find it extremely fascinating that there's just such endless things that we have no idea about.
Right. Yeah. And one of the other things I'm actually super passionate about that I'll go ahead and include as well is fishing. So this is just a cool little picture of my canoe rig that I have. I usually go out and, on a river or on a lake and go fishing for the day. And all my fishing rods there, got my little strigger that you can see on the side. That's what helps me keep it more stabilized.
Okay.
And of course, don't forget your life jacket. So you can see that in there too.
I'm like heavy duty, serious fishing going on. Right?
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of nice because that's where you can go to decompress and just kind of, get away from the world for a few hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Very nice. Won't get in a canoe. One time I did. I flipped over and it just took me downriver. So we're not going to go into that. But yeah, it seems like you're better at handling that.
Oh, I've had my fair share of flipping over and going down rivers. So you get used to it.
The biggest challenge is just that balance side of things. So,
right.
Well, perfect. Well, speaking of challenges, would you care to just kind of tell me about, recent challenge that you faced that a client might have sent to you, and just kind of guide us through the process on how you or your team helped to solve it?
Sure. Yeah. So one of the issues we had here recently with an organization was it was related to our calendar sync feature. And so they noticed that, certain events weren't syncing between their platform calendar and their Salesforce calendar. And so we went in, we took a look, and also I have some communications here that I can show you guys, but we took a look at what their issues were specifically. And we noticed that they were using an older sandbox URL for their Cirrus account rather than the newer one. So we went in, resolved that. We thought that would fix the issue. Turns out it didn't. So we took a deeper look into it. We also noticed that they had only been syncing out 0 months, which if you're not syncing out more than one, if you're syncing out 0 days ahead, you're not going to have anything that you've booked forward for. So we went ahead and changed that to 1 month for them. And then we also noticed that we had to go in and delete and re-add their one of their user profiles to make sure that all of their events were coming over properly from the new account that they were sent to. So all of that was done in 1 day. It was done on a call with the customer. We also had Vinny here and John, as well as Edwin, who all stepped in and helped out with that. And Eric Carlson, can't leave him out as well. So we had all of them hop in, and so it was a big team effort, and we got it all done in 1 day.
Well, that's impressive. I know that one of the biggest things here at Cirrus Insight is just cross-departmentalization, collaboration, and just troubleshooting. So that's amazing that you guys were able to resolve this in a day. So kudos to you and your team. Do you have any advice that you would give either clients or other people that might kind of face this kind of issue?
Yeah, so if you're having any sort of issues at all, our best piece of advice is to reach out to our chat client. We're online, anytime between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern weekdays. If you can also submit any sort of case or ticket after hours, and we'll have, the next business day, we'll get to that right away. That's one of our biggest things that we focus on here in our customer support team is that constant, reaching out as soon as we can.
And I can absolutely echo what Jacob said. We have a really stellar support team. And a little biased, but I love them. They're great. And we're really proud of our support team here at Cirrus Insight. So yeah, absolutely reach out if anybody ever needs anything. But I really appreciate you just kind of diving into that, Jacob, and just kind of giving me a little heads up of what it entails just to kind of, spearhead these challenges. But on a personal note, what do you typically think about when you're in the car alone? No distractions, no nothing.
Right. So typically whenever, I'm not thinking about anything work related, I'll be thinking about fishing. Obviously I love to do that, looking at the stars. But outside of that, I've recently got a house built. So here in the recent few past days, I've had to think about, like mowing and all that stuff. You don't really think about that when you have a house built, because at first it's all dirt, there's no grass, but then the grass starts coming out of nowhere. And so you have to figure out, how am I going to mow this with a million rocks still in the yard? So you got to pick all those out and then, figure out a way to mow it without breaking your mower. We're also thinking about getting some extra land cleared here that's next to us and get it bush hogged basically and have some trees, relocated. But that way it'll clear up some extra land for us. And so, yeah, that's all that's going through my head.
Oh, that's all. Are you sure? I feel like we should just keep adding. That's a little excessive, but that's amazing. Congrats on your new house, by the way.
Thank you.
And isn't it fun adulting? So much fun.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Well, perfect, Jacob. Thank you so much for just kind of giving us an insight on what some of the support team does and, what you're passionate about. It just kind of helps other people internally get to know you even better, because I didn't even know you liked, astronomy, which is super cool. But, that's all the time we have for today. In the next time, I might be fighting a unicorn. I'm just kidding. No, actually, Una owns me money, so there might be a little scuffle. But what's free? And it won't cost you anything. Free trial with Cirrus Insight. That's right. You heard me right. Try our platform and get 14 days free and see what you think. I think you'll really be proud and impressed and would like to get more and further information. But until next time, I'm Frankie. And thanks again, Jacob, for joining us here at How We Solve It. Bye.